Hello everyone, this is John from PokerVIP.com and welcome to this video which I've called Standard Lines. Now Standard Lines is basically plays we should be making as a standard. Understanding what we should be opening, what we should be calling with, how we should be playing post-flop. And not doing anything stupid, not clicking buttons, having a reason for everything we do. As you can see, I'm on two tables of 5NL Zoom. I've chosen this because a lot of people play it on our site. It's a great game to play. You get a lot of hands in quick. You play versus a lot of recreational players, and you can basically move up the levels quickly and keep on climbing. And if your sort of dream is to become like a supernova or supernova elite, once you get to the mid stakes or even 100 NL, you can definitely progress quicker to that by playing Zoom. Also, personally, I think Zoom's the future. I think in 3 years' time, there'll be no such thing as regular tables. I think everything will become Zoom or Speed or one of those variants. So, like I say, standard lines. We're just going to understand why we're doing what we're doing, and getting the most out of doing that. As you can see so far, everything's been a pretty simple fold. Now the King Jack offsuit here, I'll definitely be waiting to open the small blind. Once the button opens to 3x, I'm just going to go ahead and fold. In the big blind, I'll definitely call, but out of position, I feel like I should be 3-betting or folding. I've got no reads on this player. I don't know how often he folds. I don't know if he calls if worse. So for now, I'll just go ahead and fold King Jack offsuit. And it's a hand that definitely dominates us. Pocket eights here now. Should we fold? No. Should we 3-bet? Well, what's the reason to? Probably none. So I think it's a pretty obvious call. Pocket jacks here. Let's 3x it. 3x again. I think it's pretty standard from under the gun +1. Pocket eights here. It checks around. I'm just going to keep checking. Hopefully get to showdown and have the best hand. I definitely think I do have the best hand a lot of times here. Whilst it goes check on the flop, check on the turn. I don't think I need to stab at it. I don't think I need to try and get value from worse. I think I just check and scoop the pot. 5-6 suited in the cutoff, definitely fine to open. Nice playable hand in position, as long as the button folds, of course. But we should definitely have this in our opening range in the cutoff. King Queen offsuit on the button. I'm just going to go ahead and 2.5x. 5-6 suited. Well, I don't think we should start calling 3-bets with it already. I think we should kind of have a reason to do that. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and fold. Once you start calling too many 3-bets with those hands, you're going to find yourself losing a ton of money really quick. Okay, so we get check raise here. We've got King Queen high with the King of Clubs. I personally think this is a fold for now. Even though it's a really small raise and we're getting, close to 4-1. I just think if we kind of improve, it might improve him. We're not sure if the King High Flush will be good. We're not sure if King or Queen will be good. It'll just leave us in a tricky position. So let's just go ahead and fold that one and wait for a better spot. 6-3 offsuit, just a fold. And same with the 4 deuce. Now the Ace King, again 2.5x on the button. Keep your bet sizes the same from different positions. Because we don't want, if we 2.5x, Queen 7 suited and Ace King offsuit, they're never going to know what we've got. Versus a short stack here, I just kind of want to check and hope to improve. If I bet and get jammed on, I won't exactly be happy calling. I'm just going to go ahead and flat here to trap. I feel like I've got the best hand pretty much all of the time. I don't want to raise and get him to fold. So I'm just going to let him bluff off. On the river, I'm going to go for a value jam. Hopefully he calls me for a worse king or just pure air. Or maybe even, like a 6 or a 3. I think flatting there would be a mistake, even though the 7 pairs. We've induced a bluff from him. And I feel good about that one. And again, just a very standard spot. If you want to sign up to PokerStars, go to PokerVIP.com/deals. And whilst you're there, make sure you check out our forum, other coaching videos, and everything else we have to offer, like a complete poker school. And the majority, I think 99% of our content's free. All you have to do is register your name, email address, and create a nickname. Pretty simple stuff. Queen Deuce is a fold on the button. And as you can see here, I'm hanging around with a 10-7 suited. I'd like to open up blind v blind, but once the button opens, I can just go ahead and make a fold. 9 deuce offsuit, as you all know, that is a easy fold out of position. Pocket 9's on the button, you guessed it, 2.5x, and King Jack suited under the gun +1, 3x in that. Now, pocket nines here, we could check back, but I feel like we should be continuation betting on this board with pretty much all of our range because we rep it so well. We get a lot of folds, and just being balanced is good for us. Queen nine suited here, open blind v blind, definitely going to see it on a board like that. Pocket nines, we pick up a flush draw, just going to check back in position. And check back this river. Probably expect this wisely to have like king queen a lot of the time. He actually had jacks there, which I think is pretty terrible. I think versus a button opening should be 3-betting that hand, and especially being out of position, because basically what he does is he loses a lot of value versus my hands that call, which are generally, you know, smaller pocket pairs, and he just gets in a real tough position post flop. You've got to get value for your hands, because trust me, when you sit there and you're not getting value, then someone else won't do it for you. Sometimes you have to do the hard work. As a few of you will know, I like to 4x under the gun. I have a really tight, strong opening range under the gun, so I like to get value. I like to make it easy for myself, and I like to make it when they 3-bet, they have to 3-bet to bigger amounts, and we're going to have a really big hand a lot of the time. So we get a lot more value from doing that. Ace king suited, you know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to 2.5 exit. Ace king suited here versus two opponents. I think we just go ahead and put in a decent sized 4-bet, and this will be a 4-bet to get it in. Why are we doing this? Well, although we've got no reads on people, people will be aggressive. Ace king suited is very strong, and we've got blockers, so it's very unlikely that they have aces or kings. Interesting spot here. We've only got ace high. This guy's overpeeled. I'm worried that he's got, you know, like, you know, king queen, jack 10 suited, hands like that, which might get there if I check. But also the problem is if he's got a pocket pair, then he's probably going to call. However, ace and a king is live, and we can get called by worse, you know, like a flush draw. So I'm just going to go ahead and jam here. I don't want to bet and then fold to a raise. The pot's so big that I expect to take it down a lot of time, and a lot of the time when he does call, we're going to either have the best hand or have some decent equity versus him. 7-8 offsuit, blind v blind, definitely a playable hand we should be opening with. Going to go ahead and squeeze here with king queen. Like same again, it's got blockers for ace queen, ace king, kings and queens. We don't want to play it multi-way out of position, so it's a fold or a squeeze. I think it's strong enough to squeeze, and that it should definitely be in our range for squeezing. As you can see, I'm hanging around here with 3-4 suited on the button. It's pretty close, but I like to open it. But once someone's already opened, I can go ahead and fold. And remember, an open means the first person to come into the pot. So that could be an open limp, an open raise, or even an open fold. But obviously, like, open when I'm speaking would be someone putting money in the middle. King queen out of position. I don't want to flat in case the big blind comes along or squeezes and puts me in a tough spot. I want to be in control of that pot and get value from worse hands. Pocket fives is the lowest, or should I say smallest pocket pair I open under the gun, and I 4x it again just like I would with aces. So people have no idea if I've got aces, fives, ace queen suited, or any other hands they might think I have. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, well, this is exploitable. The problem is people don't actually pay attention to HUDs too long. Once we do find ourselves getting exploited, we can go ahead and adjust pretty easily. But for now, I think this is great. Versus 3 opponents, I'm going to check give up. There's just so much out there that can call me already, or, you know, obviously have me beat. 9-7 suited here, just going to go ahead and make a c-bet for value. You can call me with smaller pairs, draws, or if he folds, he can fold hands with equity versus me. And pocket fives here, once someone's bet, I'm just going to go ahead and let it go. 9-7 suited, we take it down. Queen 3 offsuit, we fold. 10-8 suited under the gun, I won't open. I'd open 9-10 suited though. Same with ace 10, I'd open ace jack. And again, please leave any comments below. Anything you want to see in future videos, let me know. Any questions you've got about any hands I've played here, let me know. Queen 4 suited blind v blind is pretty close, so I'm going to go ahead and be a little bit aggressive and open, see how the blind adjusts to that. I'm going to go ahead and check here for, you know, like for kind of a bit of deception. I don't expect him to, you know, have like a monster hand too often. So I'm just going to go ahead and check and hopefully get a bluff out of him. Once turn 2 pair, I'm pretty comfortable that I've got the best hand. So I'm just going to go ahead and check call again. Yeah, and that's the joy of inducing. I did just realise I had my fan on there, so excuse any fan noises you heard for the first few minutes of this video. I've turned it off now. Hopefully you won't have heard any of it. Big hand there, pocket jacks, and jack 8 off over there. Blind v blind, definitely opening. Don't think we need to 3x it. We can make it pretty small in position. We basically want him to induce to 4-bet or to call and, you know, play weaker hands out of position. Once he does 4-bet, we're doing nothing apart from getting in. Blind v blind is just a massive hand. It's a massive hand in general. He can fold, so we pick up, you know, 20 bigs there, or if he calls, he can call with worse. Ace jack on the button, gonna 2.5x that again. And he does there. And if I was you, I would just mark 4-bet fold, blind v blind. And it was just a good note to have on someone now. And if you're a serious poker player, you should be making lots of notes. Queen 10 offsuit in the cutoff, definitely a 3x open. Same with ace jack. Not the greatest flop for us, but we can go ahead and c-bet, and hopefully that takes it down. Ace jack here, guy leads. It's a very wet board, so I'm going to go ahead and raise. Obviously, I'm raising for value and protection. I don't want him to get there for free with all of his junk. It does suck when they fold, but on a really draw-heavy board like that, let's get some value. Let's make people pay. And as you can see, standard lines, I'm just chipping up nicely. Everything's pretty simple, not doing anything out of the ordinary, just really good straightforward poker. Now don't get me wrong, playing, you know, the best poker in the world, you can sometimes lose, but this is just a great overall strategy that, you know, I use and many other poker players use. King 10 offsuit, blind v blind, definitely opening that and get a quick fold. Ace deuce offsuit, not going to defend versus a cutoff open. Pocket jacks under the gun, you know exactly what to do, 4x it. And let me know what you think about the 4x strategy under the gun with a tight opening range. Interesting spot here, we are deep, we are out of position. Why would we be 4-betting? Well, if we were 100 big blinds deep, I think we could justify getting in. But when we're deep here, do we really want to be getting in jacks? No. And also, you know, people might be like, oh, well, 4-bet to find out where you are. That's really bad poker, that's really bad logic. Be confident in playing out of position with a big hand. Not the worst flop for us, not the best either. Once he checks back, what's he got? Probably a lot of 2 pairs, maybe ace queen highs, possibly, you know, kings or quads. Sorry, 3 of a kind, kings or quads. But I'm not going to lead out, I'm going to allow him to bet. He might have, you know, pocket 10s, he might now start betting all of his junk. Once he checks again, I'm going to go ahead and put a really small bet out here for value. I basically want him to call with all his random 2 pairs, or even if he wants to ace high me, giving him a really good price, you know, almost 4-1 to call with those hands, which I think he will. Like, I can't ever see him folding pocket 10s here. I can't see him folding a 6 or an 8. He did have queens, he slow played them to the death. I'm surprised he didn't go for like maybe a real small raise there, or at least bet the turn. I guess he was just really scared that I had it. I'm quite happy with the way I played that hand. I think we do get called by worse, and I don't think he always just has, you know, queens. Okay, interesting hand here. Once someone limps, we're in position. We've got a really nice playable hand. Let's isolate them. Isolate basically means let's get it heads up with them. We want to be the only person in the pot with this player. And also we've got a hand that's probably very ahead of their range, plays well, and again, we're in position. Ace 4 offsuit here. People are like, oh, it's your 3-bet. Well, why are you 3-betting? Is he going to call with worse or fold better? Probably not. So let's just call in position and take a flop. Ace high, in position, blind v blind. So pretty much dream spot. I'm going to go ahead and float here once because I just think ace high can be ahead a lot of the time. And if we improve, we might get some future value. I'm going to go ahead and bet here for value. There is a argument for checking to then get river value. But I think he's not going to fold a king. He's not going to fold any draws. And he might even call me even lighter than that. So let's get some money in there. Couple of button playable hands here. Gonna do the same on both tables. Interesting here, under the gun opens. We don't know anything about him. Should we 3-bet? Well, are we 3-betting for value? We're not too sure. Why don't we just flat? Like I say, we're in position. We've already won half the battle. We've got a strong hand. That's great. And in spots like this, dead easy. Let's just call. Top pair, you know, queen kicker, nut flush draw. You know, like running nut flush draw. Once he checks, let's bet for value. We want all his draws to call, all his worst aces to call, and maybe some of his pocket pairs like jacks, queens, or kings. It does open us up to be check raised, but let's not worry too much about that with a hand like we have. We'll deal with that if it happens. And we just take the pot down there pretty easily, make some money, put people under pressure. And the thing is as well, playing like this, we just play, so close to perfect that who's going to want to really, like people just get so frustrated with us and hate playing with us because we play just solid all the time. We don't need to tilt, we don't need to start doing silly things. Just get the money. Ace Jack here, don't really want to be playing it out of position to be honest, multi-way, possibly against 3 players, so I'm going to go ahead and take control here, squeeze, it's a strong hand, I'm happy to play it out of position versus a caller, and I'm happy to take it down pre-flop. We do get a call, it comes ace high, just going to go ahead and bet here, he can call me with, draws or worse hands. He snaps me off, and I kind of think he's probably got, the similar hand, maybe a hand like king queen, jack queen, or sort of like 8-9s or 7-8 suited like spades. I'm gonna go ahead and check though, just to be a little bit on the cautious side. Once he checks back there, I'm gonna go ahead and bet small for value. Expect a lot worse to call me off, because people might be thinking, well, he's not going to check a big ace on the turn because the draws are there. Well, we do. We control size of pots, and we get things like this to give us money. Ace 5 offsuit. Simple as that. Just playing very straightforward poker. And like I said, we play so tight, we play so solid, but yet these people are still, giving us money with these weaker hands. And that's their kind of problem, they're not studying hard enough, they're not, paying attention. And when you see someone paying attention, just note them, Note them as read or something, say knows exactly what I'm doing or thinks they know what I'm doing, adjust accordingly. I'm not going to 3x here just because Villain's, not deep, so I just want him to put some money in the middle. Same with my c-bet post flop, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it quite small and hope to get some action. Pocket 7's 1 over card, I think it's definitely fine to open. We can have the worst hand, even pre-flop, but I think betting we get, 3s, 4s, 5s and 6s to call us also. Not too happy with the ace there, can definitely be, an ace high float in Error Menk's range. Once he checks, we get a full house on the river. I'm going to go ahead and check again. I expect basically all 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s to check. And then I expect all aces and 9s to bet. Now, as you've seen me do this in previous videos, I'm going to go ahead and call and burn some money. With his bet sizing here, I just fully expected him to have the nuts. I don't ever expect him to have absolutely nothing, so I'm pretty much sure he's got like ace-jack or ace-10 here. So to prove a point, I'll go ahead and call. And like I say, he's pretty much got the nuts. I didn't expect him to have the nuts that hard, but 9's full made sense there with his bet sizing. I'm not actually sure, sorry I was not paying attention what I did with this queen 9 suited. I'd expect me to fold if under the gun opened. I don't actually know what I did there. I'll have to pull up the replay, I'm sorry about that. Queen 9 suited, I'm just watching the replay on my other monitor. Oh, he limped, I raised and I check folded. Oops. I should just c-bet there. It's a great flop to c-bet on, I do apologise. Sometimes when you're making videos you get distracted. I mean, like I said with that pocket 7's hand, I do it in a lot of videos where I'll call just so we can speak about it and prove a point. His sizing, 115 into 120, should just instantly ring alarm bells for you. If you've got an ace, there's nothing you can do. You've got to call because you're probably going to chop it a lot of the times. If you've got a hand like kings or queens, it's really close, but the rest of it's just an obvious fold. Pocket 7's there. In a normal game, I would muck incredibly quick. I defended with jack queen suited here. I think that's totally fine. I'm going to call once I make a pair. We can definitely have the best hand. Spades get there, a bit worrying, but I'm just going to check and hope to go to the showdown. I don't think I should turn my hand into a bluff. Just basically see what he does and react from there. He checks and sadly he gets there with a 3 of spades, but like I say on the flop, it's nice to sort of call with the best hand there, and it's just a shame he got there. Nothing we can do. And I like the way he played his hand. He c-bet on a good flop. And When he got there, he thought, well, he doesn't think any worse. He's going to call me. He doesn't think my hands are strong enough that aren't flushes. So he's going to check back and go to showdown. So really nice play by him. Ace 10 under the gun, like I say, I'm going to go ahead and fold. Ace King here, we open, we hit top pair, top kicker with the running no flush draw. We get min raised. What does this mean? Generally it means we're beat, but generally it means it could just be spazzing. I'm not going anywhere, like I say, top top. Sadly we don't turn another diamond, but that could be good because he could have had 2 diamonds. Not going anywhere. Not a good river for us there. All the straight gets there. Now I'd contemplate folding. However, we are getting 3-1 to call. What hands that beat us are kind of like sets, or 2 pair, like ace 5 suited, ace 2 suited, pocket 2s. But I think it's fine for us to go ahead and call. Sadly, he did flop top 2 pair and he got some good value there. But when the draw missed, even though the straight draw gets there, it makes me way more inclined to go ahead and call and pay off. So a couple of bad hands there, but not a lot we can do. I think we played them very well. Eight nine suited in the cutoff. In the cutoff. What am I talking about? Under the gun +1. Definitely fine to open. Just going to go ahead and do my usual 3x. And ace queen blind v blind. That's 3x there as well. So as you've noticed, I 4x under the gun, I 3x from all other positions, and I 2.5x the button. Ace 9 suited here, people are like, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and 4-bet, yeah, and well, there's no real reason to yet, let's go ahead and just muck it. We've done our job there, we've opened a good hand in a good position, we've been 3-bet, we've been put under pressure, and we're out of position. We can fold. Pocket 2s here versus a half stack just to fold, we don't get enough implied odds to call for if we flop a set, because it just doesn't happen often enough. Somewhere between 7.5 and 8-1 is how often we'll flop a set. Pocket 8s here, let's go ahead and 3x. Queen 4, also ticking check fold, just not going to be playing this hand no matter what happens. Pocket 8s here, I don't think 4-betting's good, I don't think folding's good, so let's go ahead and call. Good flop for us. Okay, so here's another spot where I'm just going to go ahead and make a call just for video purposes. We can definitely have the best hand, but I think we're going to just walk into pocket jacks here or pocket 10s. He actually has ace king, which is interesting. He wins the first one. And we chop that one. Like I say, I'd probably fold because I got no history on him. I just expect him to be a bit of a fish who wants to protect the hand like 10s or jacks because that's how they play it. If you have that guy on your table, obviously just make a note that that's how he plays. It's a great note to have on someone because you can just easily make calls there with hands like I had. And like I say, I do this for video purposes. You should not be calling to prove points or to learn unless you've got a bottomless bankroll, of course. And that's just how you enjoy learning. But generally, just play poker the correct way, and yeah, don't be calling to see what they've got. I just do it because, well, we're here to coach, and I think that's quite a cool way of learning. And again, comment below if you agree. Pocket 5's pretty obvious open in position. Gonna just go ahead and call this good flop for us. Good turn. Obviously, we turn a full house. There is an argument for checking because we might get a lot of folds, but I think we just go ahead and bet because I think a lot of his spades will call and so on. Looks like we've got a fish here open jamming. 6-7 offsuit is not strong enough to call though, obviously. I do love the software on PokerStars. They really do nail it time after time. Check Jack 5 when it came around to me. Yes, I've got a pair, but it's a very web board. I'm not going to start leading and getting involved in this pot. Ace Jack, definitely unopen. Jack 5 once this player's called. It's just an easy mug for me. I think what would be cool is if you do play in these games, maybe leave a comment on if you agree with my style of play, if you've maybe incorporated it into your game, or if you were playing someone like me, you'd think it was easy to play. Obviously, this is just my strategy, it works for me. If you want to follow any of my poker as well, go to the My Journey section of the forum. I've got a blog up there. I post daily graphs, a bit of music, overall graphs, a bit of strategy, a bit of general chat of what I'm doing in my life. So I think it's called My Poker Journey, A Grinder's Grind. Queen 7 here, just go ahead and make a fold. Queen 5 suited, make a fold. 9-4 off, make a fold. 3-5 off, make a fold. And finally we've got a hand to play on the button if it folds around to us. which it does. So we just 2.5 exit. We get 3-bet by, you know, someone who's a short stack, but it is a min raise, if you've noticed. A lot of people might just auto-fold thinking I've been 3-bet, but just pay attention to the bet sizing. Because it is a min raise, we can go ahead and call. If it was a proper size raise, it would just be a fold. I'm going to check here and take a free card from a straight draw. I don't want to bet and get check raised. Same again here. It sucks if we go to showdown, but a lot of the time he's just going to have a massive hand and be slow playing it. And once he pop bets it, yeah, I think he's pretty much got, you know, a nutted hand, and we missed. So let's just go ahead and fold. Pretty cheap way of getting a straight draw there. Especially if he did have, you know, a nutted hand, we can get there. He pots the river, we raise, he'd probably still ship it. So we get a lot of value there. Jack King in the cutoff, definitely an open. King Queen offsuit. A lot of people might 3-bet this. I personally like to call. We dominate his range. He's gonna have a lot of Jack Queens, Jack Kings, Queen 10s, King 10s, King 9s, Queen 9s. So we can go ahead and call. Here we flop 2 overs and a good shot with a Queen high backdoor at flush draw. So I'm gonna call. Jack King we get led into for more than pot. I'm just gonna go ahead and fold. King Queen here. Not sure if I need to bluff or not, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to showdown with King High. He did actually have a pocket pair, but that's fine. I think we both played our hand really well there. King 10 suited, easy open. Nice playable hand in position. We get a caller, we flop pretty well. 7-9 suited, I'm going to go ahead and check here, see the flop. King 10, I'm going to go ahead and c-bet for value. We get instantly check raise, but whatever, I'm calling. Top pair, backdoor, flush draw, king kicker. What's he check raising us with? Honestly, you know, there's no right answer there, to be honest. In a spot like this, it's just, you know, click call. He's kind of trying to rep like ace 10, quad 6s, a6, pocket 2s. So yeah, just call. He actually check raises with second pair, turn trips, and decides to bet really small, which is fine with me. We get a great price on the river. It's definitely profitable to call. Easy game. And, you know, another fish there, you know, make a note on him. Check, min raises, flop with second pair. Starts to bet pretty small. Deep here in position, Jack Queen suited I think it's fine to call. Just don't go crazy with it post flop. Good flop for us, obviously. 2 overs and a Queen high flush draw. Nothing else to do apart from call. Like I say, we are deep. That is a reason for calling. Same here on the turn. Sadly, we don't improve. We brick. He checks to us. Now, do we go ahead and bluff? We kind of rep a pair pretty well, so I'm going to go ahead and bluff, get his ace highs to fold and his king highs. Sadly, he owns us with pocket 5s, but I do like his check call there. I just don't want him to, you know, go to showdown and have king high and beat us, or, you know, an ace high flush draw that missed. Because I think he's going to fold those hands, but caught with all his pocket pairs. He was just checking to induce, and it worked nicely. King Queen suited here, 2 overs and a flush draw. Let's go ahead and bet it. And, you know, we're obviously betting there to get hands of equity to fold, to build a pot if we hit and improve, or to double barrel or triple barrel and take the pot down. Deuce 3 suited, easy fold. Ace Queen, we've got a limper, let's 4x it, let's get some value off him. We've got a massive hand. Good flop for us, but I'm going to go ahead and check, which a lot of you might be thinking, well, that's a little bit weird. The reason I'm doing that is just to allow him to bluff. I think Ace Queen is pretty much the nuts there. So I can go ahead and, you know, get him to call. And also if he improves on the turn, you know, we improve to a straight a lot of the time. Sadly, he just had Ace 3 off, but that's fine. Ace here, I'm actually making it quite small. And the reason I was doing that is he's going to isolate a limper a lot. I want him to call. I want the limper to come along. I want everyone to basically just be in the party. And, you know, allow them to do silly things when I've got the nuts. A6 suited out of position, just a fold. Jack 4, just a fold. Pocket 5s, we will be opening. And we take that down. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Keeping it around 30 minutes because it's what a lot of you are saying that you like. That was the 5NL PokerStars standard lines video, and I'll probably do higher stakes, 10NL, 20, 25 NL, 20 NL. I'm not too sure what it is on here anymore, and 50 NL, and just work up the stakes, playing standard, playing tight, playing good. This was John for PokerVIP.com. Good luck at the tables.